Hello everyone and welcome to another Planetary Annihilation tutorial. Right now we are playing a game on Pacific, so let's get right at it. Generally what I like to do on this map is start out with a naval factory. Like so. Make sure my commander doesn't walk. 2 metal extractors, an air factory, 2 power gens, bot factory, and a naval factory, power gens, maybe 3 if you fucking misclick. And then the first thing we're gonna do is build a fab ship, and then a piranha, and a narwhal. I'm gonna show you what this narwhal is for. First thing we're gonna do is grab this metal, maybe three guys, 3 metal extractors. Then I'm gonna build a radar, grab this, put up a glider turret, and then this. And the piranha here is for exactly what we are doing. I'm gonna make a bomber and a hummingbird. The piranha's gonna sail on off to our opponent's base and go to his starting 3 mechs. Hopefully you can catch him off guard. The narwhal is to fight off our opponent's narwhal. And we're gonna make a bunch of subs at this point. By the time we finally make this bot factory, we're going to make a regular bot fab, and then a combat fab, and then we're going to make a ton of docks. When he gets over here, we're going to queue that up. Bot fab, combat fab, and then docks. And this is what the piranha is for. Essentially, we could potentially have just won already. He hasn't expanded anywhere else, at least. So, I made a second naval fab. We're gonna grab this metal back here. We're gonna use this bot fab to grab all this. And it looks like we didn't take the most efficient route down the efficiency road. But we have prevented our opponent from expanding, so that is good. This is where our economy turns around when this combat fab comes out. Start really making a dent in things. Gonna make a 3rd naval fab, which we're gonna use to start taking this metal over here. And then this sub is going to continue pressuring these first 3 mechs. Mechs being metal extractors. It looks like we have an idle commander over here. Don't want that. I'm gonna set up tons of factories for him to build. Mostly what we're going to be spamming here is submarines. Ooh, another fab. What I'm doing is stop commanding so that I can ensure the entire volley from this bomber is going to hit, unless it just goes off and does that, which it will do quite often. So we need another single bomber. Every time we lose that bomber, we're gonna replace it, unless we're in some really bad situation or he went more air than us. And we have a lot of stuff coming in. I'm actually thinking of getting T2 because we're wasting all this metal that we have coming in. I'm gonna pop down a forward naval factory because we can afford it. If we can afford it, We might as well use that to our advantage. Here, grab that metal. Actually, we're just gonna grab this metal and then have a guy that's closer start grabbing that. And by that metal, I mean these 6 points. There's 2 islands. This is what the docks are for. We didn't really use them for what they were for, but the docks are to go to these 2 islands, prevent expansions on those. And all we have to do right now is continue to prevent our opponent from expanding, which we've been doing a very good job of. And then we're gonna go T2 so we can afford it. Not giving up anything in building it. We're just gonna... Then maybe... We have a ton of fabs building right now. So if we're overspending, we can just send out if you made too many fabs to go take metal. And then we can just have our commander on power gen duty for a while. Ideally, somewhere in here, I did something wrong. Just probably make a couple too many fabs. Which is really making our efficiency dip. But we are using up all the energy we have. Now the deciding factor for how much metal we can spend, how much metal we have coming in, and how much power we have coming in, and how efficient the fabs we have are building. So a fabrication ship builds 14 metal, or spends 14 metal for 800 power. Now if we look at air fab, for 800 power it only spends 9. Now if you look at a naval factory, it actually spends 20 for 800 power. That is great. Well, you'll see that an advanced factory even more efficient than that. It spends 60 metal for 1,750 power. Now as the farther you go up, the more efficiently you're going to be spending your power. Remember, it doesn't matter how much production you have, if you don't have any power coming in, you don't have any metal going out. So I'm gonna set up some torpedo launchers here and there, so he can't just send out his subs and ruin our day. Now we can benefit from some radar. So we will build some radar. You see here, I'm using my hotkeys to plop these down to minimize the amount of time I have to spend actually doing such things. But we're not going to be able to use our radar until we have power coming in. So an advanced energy plant produces 3,750 power at the cost of 2,000 metal. For 400 metal, we get 600. So 6 times 5 is 3,000. We get 750 extra power out of the deal when we build an advanced power generator. So keep that in mind. But you'll notice that I'm not using air fabs because a single shot from a hummingbird will shoot them down. We absolutely want to prevent that. Another thing is you can build a pelican. Since these guys are essentially useless now, they've done their purpose. I mean, with this bot fab, I can actually start building torpedo launchers alongside the back, but I'm not actually going to do that right now. There's nothing attacking me back there. We can build a pelican, which is a transport. Unfortunately, you can only build one. I mean, you can only carry one unit at a time with it. But you can transport our fabs this way with it.
Engaging enemy commander.
I also recommend that you that you set up hotkeys for like loading and unloading, because I don't think there's a default hotkey for that. Now, since we already have an air fab doing that, since we have a bot fab there and it doesn't have much other purpose in that area, we're just gonna send the air fab to do something else. But if you notice, this island has trees on it, which we can use to our benefit by reclaiming it, just like we did on this island. That's what the combat fab is for. Just take this guy and then reclaim all that. But this guy doesn't seem to want to continue playing much longer. He's gonna walk into the torpedo launchers and his commander's gonna blow up.
New commander destroyed. Congratulations, Commander.
So,
Program engaged.
as you've probably recognized, you didn't have a lot of stuff. Now, why is that? Why is that? Well, I'd say quite simple. Whoa, how long did it take him to start taking metal? Okay, unfortunately this guy didn't think he needed metal. And he's stalling terribly. Absolutely terribly. Let's say this was a good player. He didn't actually have anything to defend his two naval fabs. You can get away with just one. I wish there was more to commentate on, but there really isn't. See how this guy had no chance because he just wasn't taking metal in any sort of proper order. So as we go zoom through here, I'm player 3. He's Ninja. And he grows very slowly. He stalls a lot. So like farther into the game, I have 9 factories to his 4. So this'll hopefully this is a good example why you should do this and not this. Because not stalling, having a sustained plan for expansion is very good. And on Pacific, it's extremely important to reclaim these trees, because your first opportunity to expand outside of your base is these 3 guys. And whether or not you're planning on T2 rushing, you saw me stall there. I didn't really know what I was doing. It almost seemed like. But the trees saved my ass. And one thing I could have done better was recognize earlier on that I had these 2 fabs that I spent metal on. I could have ferried them over here to the other island earlier. And then this air fab could be taking some remote metal somewhere else. So if you see what I did with my air fab, actually, is I sent it to some remote area that wasn't likely to be scouted unless, well, he was scouting. Like, he actually wanted to find something like that. So I didn't send my air fab like right the first place that he'll go. But yeah. Hopefully you learned something. I got some practice in. Hopefully you get some practice in, and see you next time. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.